All right, let's get into it. It's our forward-looking statement. I'd appreciate it if you commit that to memory. We take a three-pronged approach to our business model. Royalty generation, this is the primary vehicle that we utilize to grow our royalty portfolio. So basically, this evolved from prospect generation. So we go out and acquire the prospective mineral real estate around the globe, do some basic, inexpensive surface and near surface geologic investigations into the land, and find signs of mineralization or outright mineralization enough to entice another company to come in and to purchase that property. Then when we sell that property to them, we hold back a royalty on that property. And that, like I said, that's the primary vehicle that we have used to grow our royalty portfolio of 155 royalty properties around the world. We currently have 5 producing royalties around the world, and another 9 that are in development. All told, we have about 255 properties. So the balance of those are made up with properties that are available to for sale to future partners. Then we use royalty acquisition. This is more of the conventional approach to things. Buying the property, buying the royalties. Typically we buy those from third parties or from mining companies who have a portfolio of royalties that they're looking to monetize because it's outside of their wheelhouse. It's not their core business. And then strategic investment. So if we find a company that has an asset in it that we feel is grossly under-recognized in the market, yet stands a significant chance of producing a very outsized return, we may invest in that company directly and then help to cultivate that project along and lend our geologic intellect and our business acumen to bring that to a liquidating event and then capture that very large capital gain. And we've had many instances of those in the past. This is our global asset portfolio. We're truly a global company. We have assets on every continent except Antarctica. Our primary interests, areas of interest are the Western United States, Eastern Canada, Fennoscandia, so we're in Norway, Sweden, and Finland, and then we have assets in Turkey and in the Andes, both in Peru, Argentina, and Chile. This is our geographic makeup, which I kind of just went over, and then our commodity breakup. And if you take a look at the commodities, that's simply on the number of properties and sort of the commodity that we assign to each one of those properties. And then asset class, about half our properties in royalty status, and about half of them are available for purchase. Here's our ownership structure. So we have a lot of skin in the game. So 12% of our shares are held by management, directors, and employees. SSR is a big shareholder of ours at 11%. Stevens Investment Management, that's Paul Stevens out of San Francisco. He's the guy that took Apple and Cisco Systems public. Very shrewd investor, billionaire venture capitalist, and he's one of our biggest supporters. And if you take a look at all the other shares that he is basically under his tutelage that are denominated in his wife, under his wife's name and his son's name and his grandchildren's name, that number is probably closer to 15%. Franco-Nevada is a shareholder of ours. They own just over 6% of our shares. We are the only other royalty company they have ever held shares in, and the only junior company they have ever held shares in, which I think is a resounding endorsement of not only our business model, but EMX management, because Franco-Nevada is a very bunch of shrewd operators. They're the most successful minerals royalty company in the world. Sprott, that's Sprott Inc. So those are held in their funds and things like that. Then if you take a look at Sprott clients and their discretionary accounts and so on, that's probably another at least 10% of shares. Newmont's a shareholder, obviously. And then Adrian Day Asset Management, U.S. funds. Frank Holmes is also a shareholder, along with a number of hedge funds. All right, recent deals. Let's take a look at some of these. I won't go into all of these. We've kind of discussed some of these. Let's go down to the fourth bullet point. We had a long-standing lawsuit with Barrick over an area of interest in Nevada. That lawsuit went on for, geez, I think it was 14 years. That was finally settled earlier this year, and that dropped $18.825 million US into our treasury, so that was a nice little addition there. Some good lunch money there. And to give you an idea of how prolific we are at creating royalties, since January 1st of 2018, we have sold and thereby created a new royalty on 87 different properties. Nobody else comes even close to this. I think we've probably sold more properties as a prospect generator than the whole prospect generator sector combined in that time period. Caserones, this is a very nice royalty we have in Chile. This is copper and molybdenum. Originally, when we bought the first part of the royalty there, it was down around 0.5%. The projected mine life there was 17 years. And then we contacted another party who was willing to sell their interest there and brought our interest at Caserones, which I prefer to call Caserones, up to 0.7335%. And right after we did that, JX Nippon, the operator of the mine, came out and stated that they projected the mine life to now be 28 years. So we got all that upside for free, and that cost us absolutely nothing. Of course, it cost them a lot. It cost millions and millions of dollars in exploration and in engineering expertise to come to that conclusion. But of course, we're going to be the benefactor of that at no charge. And in the first half of the year, that paid us out $4 million Canadian. Our third quarter financials will be out in about 8-9 days, so you can take a look in there to see what kind of cash flow it's going to yield. I think you'd find the numbers probably going to be pretty favorable. Gediktepe, this is in Turkey. We have a 10%, 10, NSR on the gold oxide cap that sits on top of this VMS system there. This is now in production. This thing's a very nice ATM for us. We received our first royalty payment as it commenced commercial production in late May of this year, and that was $2.4 million Canadian for June and July, and we'll see what those numbers are when we report the third quarter. I think that'll be another nice little surprise. And then once that is mined out, that oxide cap, that'll be mined out in about 5 years, and then we get into the polymetallic system underneath that. That's a sulfide system, and we have a 2% NSR on that, and that will go on for a number of years after that. The Leeville Mine royalty, this is on the Carlin Trend in Nevada. This encompasses portions of a number of mines there, the Turf Mine, the Leeville Mine, the Carlin East Mine, Monarch, and Four Corners. This has paid us out so far this year, I think about $1.8 million. This will be paying out for years and years to come. If you see that photo of the turf vent shaft there, that's really interesting. Newmont spent $350 million to put in a vent shaft. Okay, so, and that's right in the heart of our royalty footprint. You can believe that if Newmont spent $350 million US putting in just a vent shaft, it's not a production shaft, there's no ore skip on that or man cage, that there's an awful lot of additional mineralization down there to be realized in order to amortize out that huge capital expenditure. And then Balya, this is a lead zinc silver property, and Turkey, we have a 4% uncapped, unbuyable royalty on this. This has just gone into commercial production. and this will continue to ramp up and probably continue to ramp up and get produce more and more ore over the next several years, and this will be a very handsome payer for us too. And then Kukuru Peki or Timok in Serbia, we have an ongoing negotiation over the royalty on that. This is coming along very nicely, albeit slowly, because it's very convoluted, because anytime there's any exchange of documents, they have to be translated into Chinese, Serbo-Croatian, and English, and then it has to go through a lot of bureaucracies, so it's been slow, but Zhejiang has been very amenable to work with, and they want to get this thing done as bad as we do and just get it all behind us. So we look to resolve this quickly. We thought this would be resolved sooner, but it hasn't, because of just the nature of the beast is so complicated. But we hope to get that done soon. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much.